Good morning, class. I thought I'd give a brief, I guess, really final lecture of their semester since, as everybody knows, tomorrow, the 28th, Thursday by 11:59, the final draft for your research paper is due. Excuse me. And then by 6 p.m. Tuesday, May 3rd, is when your Proctoru final timed essay is due. And we'll talk a little bit more about both of those items. So, really, I mean, if you look at it, we got, if you don't count the day, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 days left in our semester. And I just want to say it's been a pleasure working with everybody. If I don't say this now, I may forget if, since in 6 days, everybody's going to be sort of a former student of mine. If you need any letters of recommendation or need any recommendation for a job or that type stuff, just let me know. I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you succeed as you move past this class. If you need any help with future research papers, if you give me, a couple days notice of what you need to do on the paper and when it's due, you can always email that paper to me, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. My email inbox is generally open, so if you need to take advantage of getting a really good jammed up recommendation letter, or you need a reference for a job or something, please reach out. If not, no hard feelings. I do wish everybody the best as they move through the rest of 2022. And as they get closer to that graduation date and whatever their professional academic career leads them. So I'm going to share my screen here real quick as it relates to really the last 2 assignments. So bear with me. And I'll pull this up. And okay, so a couple things. If you go to your Blackboard page, you should really only see 2 folders now. It should be the week 16 folder, which is this week. The only thing that's really due is the research paper. So if you click on week 16, if you look under short-term, long-term assignments, you should really only see the actual research paper topic. 80 quality model research papers. There's about 20 here. I sent this out a couple of weeks ago, I guess, either before spring break or after to your email. So hopefully you had a chance to look at that, but I went ahead and put them up here. There's also, because it'll take you to a web page, and it does have examples of research papers. Now, obviously, your topic is going to be different than theirs, but the whole deal with the format, organization, how to do the parenthetical citations, in-text citations, paraphrasing, summary, all of that stuff, that will help you there. If you look at integrating quotes, because you're going to need to integrate quotations, summaries, and paraphrasing. Again, this is something I sent out by email a couple weeks ago, but here there's videos and there's some text. You can easily access part 2 instead of going right back to the lesson page by clicking here. Same thing, really good information to help you how to integrate your quotes. Because again, the key word here is that Essay 5 is your research paper. So the whole reason why we did the proposal and you did the annotated bibs basically took the last 8 weeks or so getting your 6 scholarly sources is for that you to use those scholarly sources throughout your 6-page paper. Now remember, this paper needs to be 6 pages or 1,500 words, whichever comes first. And whatever your last page is, if you do the 6 full pages, your last page is going to be page 7. That's where your works cited page is going to be, basically of the 6 sources that you chose and picked from your annotated bib. Now, don't be copying and pasting paragraphs from your annotated bib and saying, oh, I'm writing the research paper. No, that's not writing the research paper. That's just copying and pasting one assignment into the other. It's self-plagiarism. It will be flagged. And again, if you get busted or caught plagiarizing, copying and pasting, borrowing, buying, whatever the case may be, the first offense is an automatic 0. That will drop you 20 points from whatever you are right now. So most of us can't afford to lose 20 points with only 6 days left in the semester. You have until midnight tonight to send me or Smart Thinking a draft of your research paper. Starting tomorrow, I'm not really going to have time to focus on reading drafts because it's going to be due by 11:59 tomorrow night. I want to be in grade mode because some folks in my other classes have already turned their research papers in, and I'm going to try to get all these graded before 6 p.m. on May 5th, because on May 5th, all the staff and faculty are going to have to be in Waycross for a staff development meeting. And that's going to take up a good chunk of our time. So I'm actually going to try to get all the grades in by May 4th. So any event, after 6 o'clock on May 5th, if you check Blackboard and look at your weighted total, that is the grade, that is your official semester grade that will go to the college and be on your transcript. The other thing I needed to point out, there is a video here that talks a little bit more about Proctoru stuff. We'll talk a little bit more about Proctoru here momentarily. Here's the Dropbox for the research paper. Click on that. Now, on my end, it's going to be a little bit different than yours. On yours, you should just see your name. On my end, I'm going to see everybody's name, basically. And you want to look either for the Submit button or this little blue arrow, which is basically Upload Submission. You click on it. And what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to give your paper a title. Now, you can call it research or paper or your first name, last name, whatever the case may be. There has to be a title here. And then you want to choose your file. I would recommend a Microsoft Word doc or docx file. If you give me something else, there's no guarantee I can mark it up, download it, or read it. And it should be, if you upload, it should be connected here. You should have a submission title. You should be able to go ahead and hit submit the paper. It will give you sort of a receipt. I would probably take a snapshot or print that out just in case there's other problems. But if you don't have a submission title and if you don't have a document, it's not going to let you necessarily submit easily. So just be wary of that. The other thing is I was going to show you is, and I'm going to go to another class who also has a research paper, my TRF 8-week course, due tomorrow, just like most of my other classes. If you, let's say I pull up Sean here, once you upload your paper, you may have to come back and refresh. Sometimes it does it right away. It may take 30 minutes to an hour. It could take 24 hours, depending on how many folks have already submitted paper. Usually it's pretty quick, so it's usually within 30 minutes. So I'd go back after you submit it and check. You're going to notice a couple things. One thing is going to be your grade's going to be here once you get a grade, but you want to look to the right. This is your Similarity Report. This is basically telling me whether you copied, paste, bought, plagiarized, whatever the case may be, cheated on the paper. Blue, anything between 0 and 10% or this blue color is very good. That means you're original thinker, it's original thought, you didn't copy and paste, so on and so forth. So that's good. You want to have anything 10% or below. If it gets 11% or higher, especially if it gets closer to 100, it's very bad for you because this is not your grade. This is the grade of whether you cheated or plagiarized the paper. So it's going to change colors once you get up to higher numbers. It goes from blue to green to yellow to orange to red. So anything after 50% is really worrisome, and I have to click here. But you can click here too. That's what I'm saying. After you upload and come back, I would go back and see what your number is. And if it's not 10% or lower, then I would go and click and see what's going on, because you could be unintentionally plagiarizing a paper. Again, policy doesn't matter whether you unintentionalized or intentionally plagiarize something. They just look at it as your first offense is going to be a 0, which that's what's going to happen. The second offense, which that would be probably if you plagiarize the final exam, then you would fail the class. and go before a board about whether you get barred or kicked out of the school, which that's not a fun thing. Usually, if you get caught with this, the first offense, you see how much 20 points deducted from your final grade is going to hurt, and you usually kind of smarten up after that. But hopefully, if you're sending drafts to Smart Thinking or me, or going to a tutor, or getting somebody to really look at your paper, hopefully you're quoting and citing and not plagiarizing, so you're not going to be, don't have that to worry about. As you can tell, it highlights there's various numbers, various things that are highlighted. You go over here, there is a 6%. You can click on that. It tells you the 6 places where this is coming. If you click this little bar with arrows going down, it's basically going to pull up everything. It gives you a side-by-side. It tells what is what. This person basically quotes, but he doesn't really do the in-text citation so well. So it's not really plagiarized so much. He's just going to lose points because he didn't quote properly. Other things is if it's a very high percentage, like if it's 40 or 80, I try to go through there to see if I can bring it down. A lot of times you're going to have student papers from all over the world. Generally, you can't find those because I can't get a hold of them, so I just go ahead and dismiss that. But if you look here at this particular one, this is sort of like a common phrase. This is sort of kind of common phrase. That, last name is going to be a common phrase for this particular person, common phrase. So I might be able to exclude some of these that are 1%, just because a lot of it's common phrase stuff. So if I'm able to bring the number down, and that's what you want, especially if your number is really high. Now, if your number is 60 and I'm only bringing it down to a 42, there's still problems. You probably still plagiarized the paper somewhere. Because I should be able to, if you do everything right on your end, I should be able to pull it down between the 0 and 10 percentage range. If I can't do that, then chances are you plagiarized, you copied and pasted, you borrowed, you bought a paper, something happened. The paper that you turned in is not your original work. So here I'm able to probably exclude 59 potential sources that really have common phrases or common words. I will see if that does any, if it brings it down now to 3. So I would go back. I mean, right now, for the most part, it's in between the 0 and the 10. So I wouldn't be worried about so much. But make sure that when you are, you properly do the in-text citation stuff, so you're not losing points. So you just expect that it's going to flag quotations and that type stuff. It's going to flag, see it, and then it dropped it down to 3. It's going to flag your works cited. I know it's going to flag that stuff. It's big chunks, stuff that, if you're copying and pasting from Wikipedia, it's going to automatically red flag that. That's not cool. It's bad. It's shoddy research, and it's going to cost you to get a 0 and lose 20 points of your average. So what would 20 points do? Well, let's say you have an 80 right now in the class and get caught plagiarizing. Well, now you're at a 60. So you're at a D. And unless you really jam out the research or the final exam, you may not even make the 70 or higher mark at that point. D, anything 60 to 69 is generally not passing. Depending on your program of study, meaning you'd have to repeat the course before you graduate. And obviously anything 59% or lower is F, failing, and you will have to repeat this course before you graduate. And it really doesn't matter whether you transfer to a private or public college somewhere else in Georgia, out of state, out of country. This is one of those, just like I was saying in an earlier email, like college algebra, it's a core requirement. You need to have both classes and make a C or higher in both to be able to take other classes that use those requirements. So we do offer, just like we offer college algebra yearly. So if you need to take it, we have a summer semester coming up. Summer semester is very short. It's fast paced. It's a little longer as it relates to in-person classes. It's only 10 weeks long compared to a fall or spring. That's only about 15 or 16 weeks. So you basically do about 2.5 weeks worth of work in 1 week during the summer, and it's very fast paced. So, everybody had the chance since January really to pass this class. I know there's several folks that probably need to go ahead and drop who haven't dropped because their grade is so low. It doesn't matter whether they, make 100 on the last two assignments, they're still failing. So if you need to drop, you need to go ahead and go through that process before 6 p.m. on May 3rd. Otherwise, your F is going to remain the F, and that's the grade I'm going to send to the college. All right. So moving along, because I don't want this to be too lengthy. Week 17, you click on that. There's going to be a Proctoru final exam information folder. These are the handouts that I sent out weeks ago via email. If you haven't had a chance to look at that, please look at it. The other thing is the actual Proctoru is right here. I give you some additional guidelines or parameters. These are the self-reflection or Essay 6 final exam topics. You download that and you choose a particular topic you want to write. Make sure that your Proctoru extension is either for your Chrome browser or your Firefox. You can't mix and match, because if you mix and match, it's not going to work. You can have an outline of Essay 6 to help you type it. You can have note cards, you can have your e-text, you can have a dictionary. The only thing you can't have is a full rough draft already written, because it's going to take everybody, once you click here and click begin after you sign into your Proctoru account, it's probably going to take everybody about 40 minutes to type the 1 to 2 page self-reflection essay. Think about 5-paragraph theme. That would work really well, right? One, the introduction, 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. That will probably give you the 1 to 2 page length that you're looking for, or the 250 to 500 word count. Just realize once you start, you have to finish it from scratch in 1 hour. So make sure that you give yourself enough time that you can do that. So yes, you're probably going to have to spend at least 40 minutes typing. You're going to spend the next 10 minutes after you finish typing, proofreading, editing, spell check, and grammar check. So 40 to 50 minutes, that will be that part of it. And then 50 minutes to the very end, the last 10 minutes, is make sure the format and everything is where it needs to be, MLA 9. Some of you are losing points since Essay 1 because you're not following instructions as it relates to the MLA 9 format. Even though I commented and put feedback on your essays and sent out handouts about how to do the MLA 9 format, you're still losing points for the same mistakes. So don't lose points for that here if you can help it. And then make sure that you save, upload, and submit. Make sure, again, it's a Microsoft Word doc file. I have to be able to download it and read it to be able to grade it. If I can't download it and read it, I can't grade it. So it's automatically going to be a 0. The other thing is make sure that you save it and upload it, because if it gets closer to the 60 minutes and let's say your time runs out or whatever, if you don't have anything saved or uploaded, it's just going to send a blank document or a blank text box, and it's automatically going to be graded as a 0. The final exam, everybody that takes a Proctoru final exam, and that's pretty much anybody taking an online course, they're all set up to be 1 hour in length. Whether you're taking a math course, my course, psychology course, they're always 60 minutes in length. At 61 minutes, they shut down. They close up and they send whatever is there to send. If there's nothing there, it automatically grades, like I said, as a 0. You can't go back and redo these. And the reason is because for every person that takes a Proctoru, the college pays for that particular time in that test. So that's why there's no redo, restart, makeup, all that. That's why when you click begin, you want to make sure that you can be focused for 60 minutes. Your own breaks are on you. So if you have to get up and go to the bathroom and get up and go get something to eat, remember the time is ticking. At 60 minutes, it closes, whether you're done or not. The other thing is I would probably take the Proctoru exam in a quiet room where you're not going to have a lot of people coming back and forth as traffic talking to you or distracting you. Don't have a lot of noise like radio, music, TV blaring. Don't be in a room that has a lot of pictures and stuff on the wall. I wouldn't have my cell phone out making noise and looking back at it a whole bunch of times. Somebody will be watching you. This is the whole reason why having the web mic and working webcam. You must have your webcam and mic on for the full 60 minutes. If any of that is turned off, the proctor on the other end will record it because he's going to be recording the whole 60-minute session. Send me the recording. He's basically going to shut down your exam and flag you as cheating somehow. The same thing if you continually look at your phone, even though you may just be looking at the time. Put all that stuff up. I would, put it away. You could put it away for 60 minutes. Excuse me, to take this particular exam. Don't have people coming in and talking to you about, senseless stuff because they look at that as, are they jeopardizing or compromising the exam? They look at a lot of stuff and they do flag a lot of silly stuff. So you don't want to be in that point where you're getting flagged for something that you're not really doing. The other thing is, if you know that you don't have a very good computer or a compatible computer for ProctorU, if you know that your internet comes and goes at various times throughout the day, if you don't have the proper working up-to-date Microsoft Word, what I would suggest is that you go to a Coastal Pines testing center, usually an actual testing center at a campus or a library that is closest to you. So if you live in Brunswick, I would go to the Brunswick campus, obviously. I wouldn't try to drive all over the place. The downside of that is that you would have to take the exam either today, tomorrow, because most Coastal Pines, and you can call to verify, but most Coastal Pines campuses are closed on Friday. Nobody is open over the weekend, and then you'd have to come back either Monday or Tuesday. Keep in mind, if you do go to a Coastal Pines testing center or site, there might be other people waiting or taking ProctorU exams for other classes. So there might be a wait period. Most testing centers open, I think, 7:30 and 8, between 7:30 and 8, and they go to about 6. Some may close a little earlier. They usually have about an hour for lunch. So what I would suggest, especially if you got to work or whatever that may be, I would give myself at least 4 hours. And when I say is 4 hours, at least an hour to sort of get to the actual testing site, depending on where you're going, 1 hour to actually complete the exam, and then, an hour to get back to where we're at. And then you have that extra hour for lunch or whatever the purpose may be, if there's a waiting period or traffic or whatever the case may be. So if you need to, talk to your boss or something, I would definitely ask, for at least a 4-hour window that you could do this. Now, if you are comfortable of your computer capabilities, your internet abilities, stability basically, and you have all your updates, then you can basically take the ProctorU from the comfort of your own home pretty much at any time between now and the 6 o'clock deadline on Tuesday. I wouldn't probably wait the 6 o'clock Tuesday to take it because, again, this thing's going to shut down at 6:01. So if you start at 6, there's no way you're going to be able to do a 1 to 2 page paper in 1 minute. So I would probably at least give myself, I wouldn't start it after 5 o'clock if you're waiting till the very last day to do it, which that's kind of foolish and silly in a lot of ways. I wouldn't start this thing at 5:30 on Tuesday, May 3rd, because, again, unless you can type really fast and proofread and do everything you need to do, you're going to have to finish that. You're going to have to finish a 60-minute essay up in only half that time in 30 minutes. So I would try to knock this out a little earlier if possible. Once you turn the research paper in and once you complete this final exam timed essay, you're done for this class. So point example, you could take the final exam ProctorU today, turn in the research paper tomorrow, and by Friday, you're done. You won't have to worry anymore about this class. You can focus all your attention on whatever classes that you have final exams and stuff due next week. again, that's up to you, but I definitely wouldn't wait till last minute, especially if you have computer issues. We've been having storms come up late, usually later in the week, and a lot of those have produced tornadoes, high wind, lightning, and if something happens, if lightning hits a transformer and you're on Proctoru and you basically waited until the third at 4 o'clock to take it, well, you better hope they get power back on in the next 2 hours. Otherwise, you're sort of screwed as it relates to the grade, because you waited so long, there's probably not going to be enough time. And you know how power companies, they give you an estimated time of when it could possibly come on, but sometimes it's late. So again, if you want to use school equipment, I would probably come to a testing center to use the school equipment, especially if you don't trust yours, because I have no control over your internet, your Microsoft Word, your computer, your update. So if something happens with your computer, that's on you. If something's happening on the Proctoru side, it's on the Proctoru side. Only thing I can do with Proctoru is upload the exam, which I did early on in the semester, download your exam and grade it. I have no control of what's going on their program, just like I have no control of what's going on your computer or with your internet. So I wouldn't risk, especially if you have shoddy equipment. Make sure that you have a student ID, Coastal Pine student ID with your name on it, or a driver's license with your name on it, because right off the bat, when you click begin to go into the exam, it's going to take a picture of your face live and a picture of your ID live. So we are able to match the person on the face with the ID and the name and so on and so forth. If you don't have a picture ID, student ID, or a driver's license, it may be problematic and you may have a difficult time going to the next step, which would be actually completing that exam. So I'm going to show you what happens when you click here. So you click here, it's going to give you, description again, instructions, basically tells you got 60 minutes, you got time test. You click begin, and it's going to go here. So if you haven't signed up, it's not going to let you go until you do sign up. As you can tell, I have a little logo here. This is my particular Proctoru. Log in. You want to use your full username, which is going to be your full email address. That was sort of the issue that was happening with me during my last video with this. And then you can type in whatever your password is. You hit log in, and you should be able to go back and you will start this exam. It's never going to ask. If it asks for a password, then you did something wrong on your end. And the reason why I say that is the password is already built in. So if you're downloaded the correct extension of Proctoru and you did everything right on your end and your computer and internet's all compatible, it's going to automatically bypass that. So it should never ask you for a password. And if it does, then something's wrong. You did something on your end, and you're going to have to go back to see what you did wrong, or get in contact with Proctoru, the tech support. And then that's basically it. There's either a text box where if you want to just type in the text box, you can, or what I suggest, because you get to use Microsoft Word, is I would go ahead and have your Proctoru, your Blackboard account already signed into, and I would go ahead and have your Microsoft Word account already set up, with the header and all that stuff and ready to go. Because you can use the spell and grammar check on the Microsoft Word, and you can either save that file and upload it, or if you just want to use the text box, you can sort of copy and paste. I know sometimes when you do that, it sort of screws up your paragraphs, but with 60 minutes, I kind of realize time is an issue, and I'm not going to hold that against you too much, as long as I can read it, and stuff is not really jumbled all over the place. Otherwise, that's it. The final 2 assignments, one due tomorrow, one due by 6 p.m. on Tuesday or earlier, and we're done. I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. I hope your semester ends well and you do well on your other classes if you're taking multiple ones. If you're planning on going to summer semester, you might want to get in touch with your advisor if you haven't already signed up classes, because summer semester will start May 16th, I believe. So it's not that far away, and it'll be here before you know it. Let's see, because today's the 27th, the 4th, the 11th, and then the 16th. So you basically, I mean, have about a 3-week period from now before summer semester starts. If you're not planning on going the summer semester, you're planning on going in the fall. The fall schedule should be, I hope, up before the 4th of July. And again, you probably want to get in touch with your advisor before the 4th of July, possibly, so you can go ahead and sign up for your fall classes. And there's not any hiccups or stuff with that. All right. In any event, please send drafts if you have them before midnight tonight. If not, good luck with the research paper. Good luck with your final exam, Proctoru. Email me if you have any concerns. Please check your emails, because a lot of the stuff I have been sending out. Please check your weekly Blackboard folders, because again, a lot of the stuff that I've been putting on emails, it's probably been in your Blackboard folders for a little bit as well. Otherwise, right now, all the grades are up to date except for the final 2 assignments. So whatever your weighted total grade shows at this point is what you have heading into the last 6 days of the semester. I hope everybody has a great Wednesday, and I will talk to you soon.